you a little runner's tip for you. If you're running and your music keeps turning down, it's not your Pandora, it's not your phone. If you have the headsets that have the microphone and volume control built into one of the earbuds, what happens is after you wear your earphones and run a lot and they get sweat in them, that button gets a short, so the volume control actually keeps turning down. So what you do is you just yank that sumbitch off, or cut it off before you go running. I was in the middle of a run and it started happening, so I just yanked it off. Nugget's dying.
Okay.
So,
morning. You know, I really don't want to rip off the great comedian Ron White, but I'm going to. You know, you just can't fix stupid. You didn't see that either. We're in the middle of a pandemic, as we all know. 16.9, according to the unemployment numbers from Monday, million people are filed for unemployment. And there's a good chance that a lot of you watching this are been laid off or in suspended animation waiting to find out what the hell's going on with your life. And then you had the people who were lucky enough to still be working. And then you got the dumb people who don't realize how good they have it. One of the more exciting parts of my job is installing the cameras aren't exciting. It actually can be quite painful and annoying, but post installation of security cameras, oftentimes I get called back in when the client needs to look at some footage. And so was the case this morning, and I just left there. I'm gonna be super vague about this because, well, it just happened. I'm just gonna say this. In the middle of a pandemic with 16.9 people unemployed, an employee of a company that I just left thought it was a good idea to steal from their employer. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Anyhow, I'll rewind a little bit because I don't know where we left off. I don't know where we were so rudely interrupted, but anyhow. In the middle of the pandemic, 16.9 people unemployed, yada, yada, yada. 16.9 million unemployed, yada, yada, yada. This person decided it's a good idea to steal from their employer who is still employing them, giving them hours, even though they clearly are in a type of business that, you know, have access to the public. And this business is doing everything in their power to minimize that access and still maintain hours for all their employees so they can get paid. And this person thought it was a good idea to steal from their employer, take some items right out of the business, go right out the back door, and put it in the back of their car. And it's all on camera because I put in, well, technically I didn't put in the cameras, I updated the system they already had. But it's like, come on, really? You have a job, you're getting paid. There's millions of people who would love to be in your position, and now you're probably going to get fired because you decided to steal. I wish I could tell you guys what she stole. Oh, okay, just let that cat out of the bag. Wish I could tell you guys what this person stole, but it would be you know, letting the too much information out there. But if you guys knew, wasn't toilet paper, wasn't paper towels, wasn't anything that you would need in a desperate situation that you couldn't replace with something else. And it wasn't even something that you can't find at the store. And it wasn't even something that's super expensive. Let's just say the unit price of the bulk version of what this person stole, you can get for probably 88 cents. So it's not like they stole something that they needed that they couldn't afford because they were not working because of a pandemic. One, they were working and they stole a bulk version of something that you can get at any store right now at the low end at 88 cents a can. And they thought it was a good idea to get fired for stealing bulk quantities of this stuff. Anyhow, yeah, can't fix stupid.
welcome everybody. I know it's been a few days, I'm a little behind, but welcome everybody to
edition 5, I think, of the What's the Scuttlebutt Mobile Pod Studio podcast in a box. That's a whole lot of words to say, and I think I messed it up. But anyhow, welcome back. And I think the name of this episode is going to be, so what happened was, and let me explain. And so the last time we were together, I just finished this up. The glue was hardening. We're good to go. We have our new console tabletop that fits into here. And so what happened was, we kind of made a big deal about engineering as we go. And so we cut this hole first and then came up with the idea for the bottom. And so what happened was, once it's glued into place, it was actually hitting the edge, and so the top would not sit properly because this hole needed to go over about an inch so that this could sit down below this lip. And so what happens is this thing sits up like this and not flush like that. Not a big deal, because as you can see, I was able to take a flat blade screwdriver and pop our housing off. I need to sand that down. But first and foremost, before we get to all that, we have to cut a new top. And I just so happen to have, this is the other piece I stole from my father's house, which just so happens to be almost the exact width we need as a replacement tabletop. And so I'm going to trace this out and get this cut. But before we cut this center hole, we have to remeasure. So we want to, and let this be a lesson for all of you. This is why you check all your measurements and before you cut. But to give us the benefit of the doubt, we didn't design the whole shelving system until after we had cut this hole out. So little did we know that it was going to be too close.
Are you seriously doing this late at night?
Yes, I am. It's not hot out here.
Huh?
Yes, I am. It's not hot out here.
Okay, but you're waking everyone up.
Okay, I'll get over it.
Good way to be a neighbor.
So we got most of the size we need, but as you heard Nugget yelling at me for waking up the neighbors, we will sand this down tomorrow to get a better fit. But one thing we can do tonight, this. Let's get a measurement how far over we need to be. Let me say at least a good inch and a quarter. And all we gotta do tomorrow is cut this out with the saw, re-glue this on, and we will be caught up to where we were. But first, obviously I gotta sand all this garbage off so we get a nice glue on there. And we'll be back. How sad is it that the first and only item I've ever purchased from SM Wholesale is this P42 camouflage mask that I just got in the mail today. So there you go, reusable, cleanable, permanent mask from the fine people at SM Wholesale. Sad news, came out here today, one of the birds was hanging inside the nest, or inside the bush outside of the nest. Then he fell on the ground. We picked him up, put him back in the nest, but the nest is so small that he was basically standing on his other siblings. And sometime today he fell out again, but we have not been able to relocate him. So now we are down to 2 birds in the nest. Carrie and Nugget looked for probably an hour and a half. It's insane. I don't know where that little bird could have gone unless a cat or a bigger predator grabbed it, because it is nowhere to be found. Beep, beep. So he was sitting there earlier today. And like I said, we picked him up and put him back in the nest, but he fell out and he's gone now, so don't know. Okay, we're one step closer to being back to where we were. I just got to sand this down and obviously sand this stuff off so that we can reattach it here. And it'll still give us plenty of area to put more equipment on this side. But there you go, we're getting closer. After some work and some persuasion, it fits, and I'm happy that it happened. You know, from the beginning, that was an ugly piece of wood we started out with, and it was super thin, and I was concerned about in the future it cracking because of how thin that wood was. But at the time, we didn't have the wood here at my shop like I'm some fancy, my garage, and so it wasn't until I stole it from my father that we had it available to us. So now it's back in. Now I just got to sand those, re-glue it to that, and we're back to where we were at the end of part 4. So we're a lot of rework, sucks. Part of the reason why it took me so long to get this video done is I was kind of bummed out about having to do the rework on this. And that just goes to show you, when you make things up as you go along, the likelihood of you messing things up is definitely greater, and there's probably even a higher likelihood that you will have to redo parts of your project. But hey, that's part of the fun of learning how to do all this stuff ourselves. This video is a hot mess, but it's midnight. So anyhow, in the last video,
I was giving you guys tips on how to find items for cheap on eBay using generic terms. And check out this item that I got for $4.99. This is the lower end of an M1944 field pack. It's a two-piece pack, kind of like the Marine Corps haversack, but obviously a lot different. And this thing actually breaks off and detaches from the top and can be used almost like a, a suitcase or a small bag. And it's a pretty cool little setup. Of course, now I'm trying to do this all one-handed. And we've got original straps. Give me 1 second. Now I am going to be completely honest with you guys. I am not an expert in the M1944 field pack, but the price was right on this guy. It's definitely original. And here's the cool thing is, oh yeah, I got a reproduction movie used MP armband for like $5, but that's reproduction. Yeah, this actually has plastic lining in it. And so, for events, it'd be definitely a cool way to store some personal effects or maybe some items that I don't want to get moist. Well, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of times when we're at events where we need places to store stuff and it's look, air correct. But this is a pretty cool bag. Once again, I paid $4.99 for it plus shipping, and it is the lower field pack off of a M1944 field kit. I have seen these on eBay going for $40 or $50. I've seen them on antique firearms going for $50. And so the fact that I got this thing for $4 when I see them going for anywhere between $30 to $50, it's quite a steal. So once again, if you use some generic search terms and just spend some time looking, you can find some cheap stuff on eBay and get it at a steal. So there you go. So what I did is I put some command strips on the bottom, which I did actually have here in our workbench in my fasteners drawer. So I can't recess this device because there's just too many things that plug into the back and to the front. And so I figured a better way to go with this would be Velcro command strips. Get this off. Now it may seem a little odd to put it sideways, but after I start running the wire, you will see why I chose to go that direction. But so far, here we go. Getting closer to being done. Thank you for your continued support. Unlike Tucker, who refuses to come in. Come on, man, let's go. Like, subscribe, share us with your friends. Thank you so much. See you next time.
This has been a Digital 410 production.
And my quarantine hair is getting crazy. My roots are coming in. You can definitely tell I dyed my hair. My hair is getting thin, but anyhow.